Hello, this video is about constellations, and today we're going to just get kind of a basic introduction into constellations, what they are and how they were decided upon, a little bit of history. So first of all, sometimes when you look up into the nighttime, you can look up, see the stars. It's fun to imagine connecting them with the shape. When you make those patterns like this using stars, you are making what are called constellations. Long ago, people created constellations. However, they didn't do it just for fun. Why were they creating these shapes in the skies? How were stars chosen to be a part of a constellation? Was it because the stars and the patterns shared the same characteristics? Was it because the stars happened to be near one another? We're going to find out some of the answer to those questions as you watch this video. Stars are always there, but you can only see them at night. In the daytime, light from the sun outshines those stars. At night, light coming from Earth can also make it hard to see the stars. Think about how a car's headlights look brighter at nighttime than in the daytime. The lights themselves don't change, but darkness makes it easier to see them. Light pollution from cities makes it difficult to see the stars. Today, there are places on Earth where the dark night sky is protected. On a dark, clear night, you may see many, many stars, but they still seem quite small to the human eye. Telescopes. People have admired and studied the stars for a very long time. The telescope was first invented in the Netherlands in the 1600s. A telescope magnifies and focuses light, which makes objects like stars seem bigger and closer. Early telescopes were used for seeing the things on Earth. Galileo was the first to turn his telescope toward the skies, and astronomers keep finding new ways to see the stars more clearly. Now telescopes are bigger, better, and capture different kinds of what we call radiant energy to help scientists discover the new things about the stars and the universe. Many telescopes are located in their own special building called an observatory. These are often shaped like domes and are on high hilltops away from lights. However, the Hubble telescope takes pictures of stars from space. This is the Hubble telescope right here. This is another large telescope in South America, and this one happens to be located in Arizona. Long ago, people noticed that the same star could be seen in the east as night fell, and in the west much later that same night. It looks like the stars move across the sky. In time, though, scientists learned that it wasn't the stars moving, it was actually the Earth rotating on its axis every day. This caused day and night and made it look like the stars move, and we can continue to see that today. Each night, your location on Earth turns towards the stars and then turns away again. This is what changes your view of the stars during the night. The stars appear to rotate from east to west, just like the sun. In the northern hemisphere, stars appear to rotate around the North Star. This is because the North Pole points towards the North Star. In the southern hemisphere, stars appear to rotate around a group of stars called the Southern Cross. This is the Northern Star here. This is the Southern Cross. And if you can imagine drawing a line up and down here and across, you'll know why they call it the Southern Cross. Long ago, people began noticing patterns among the stars. These groups of stars were called constellations. The constellations became part of their myths and legends. Constellations also made it easier to find certain stars and study their movement. Different cultures had different constellations and stories about them. This is a star map showing different constellations. Some of these you can see in the sky even today. Astronomers recognize now 88 constellations. Each has a special name and a shape. Some famous constellations are Orion the Hunter. This is Orion. You can see his bow and his arrows that he's getting ready to shoot. And Draco the Dragon. This is Draco the Dragon. This is the head of the dragon. Two others are Ursa Major, also known as the Big Bear. This is Ursa Major here. And within Ursa Major is the Big Dipper right here. This is the bear's tail, and this is part of its body. Another part of its body, its head, leg, and two other legs here. So we might think that stars in a constellation are close to one another, but in fact they may be hundreds of light years apart. Remember that stars, as seen from Earth, may appear to be close together, but they are at different distances from Earth and from one another. Ancient peoples used the constellations to navigate or help them find their way on land or water. People also used them to keep track of time. They used constellations to help them decide when to move animals to grazing lands or when to plant crops. The myths and legends of the constellations helped them to make sense of the world around them. Today, astronomers use science to learn new things about the stars that help us understand our universe. You can see in this picture, here is Ursa Major, and here is another one, Little Dipper, but also part of Ursa Minor. And they have a connecting line from part of the Big Dipper, points right to the North Star. Another constellation up here is Cassiopeia, and you can kind of find it pretty easy because it looks like a W. So remember, a constellation is a group of stars that forms a pattern or an image. The stars within that constellation may look like they're right next to each other, but they can be really far away from one another. Constellations were once used by early people to navigate, keep track of time, notice seasons, know when to plant crops, and to move grazing animals. They used the legends of the characters in the constellations to help them to make sense of the world. And telescopes are used to study patterns in the sky and to look for new information from the stars. Thank you for watching the video.